Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Midtown Scholar Bookstore's virtual event series. My name is Alex Brubaker. I'm the manager here at the Scholar, and as always, I am live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the bookstore. Whether you're joining us on Crowdcast or Facebook Live or even YouTube Live, thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome to our live stream series where we host authors and speakers, and we keep the conversation going about books we love. Our featured book this evening is Fear is a Choice. Here it is by James Conner. If you haven't yet purchased the book, I'd like to encourage you to do so. Purchasing James's book through us helps support the author, our staff, this event series, and it helps support us as an indie bookstore during this strange, weird time that we're living in. If you click the green button below, it's right below my face here. It will direct you to our website to purchase a first edition copy of James's book. And if you order exclusively through us, you'll also receive a signed book plate from James that will include in each and every book that you order. We do have a limited supply, so smash that green button below, place your order, and you'll get a book with a signed book plate from James. If you're watching this through Facebook Live or YouTube Live, look in the comments section, and you should see we provided a link there as well, or simply head to midtownscholar.com. Now on to our program this evening. We are honored to welcome James Conner and Akbar Gbajabiamila to virtual Harrisburg. Akbar is the host of NBC's Emmy-nominated heart-racing obstacle course competition series American Ninja Warrior. He also hosts Universal Kids' spin-off show, American Ninja Warrior Jr. He is a former NFL player, and he has appeared countless times on The Today Show, Rachel Ray, Good Morning Football, Entertainment Tonight, Access Hollywood, Extra, and more. Now, I'd also like to give just a quick plug to Akbar, who has a book that just came out in paperback. It's called Everyone Can Be a Ninja, Find Your Inner Warrior, and Achieve Your Dreams, and it draws inspiration from both the fierce competitors on his show and his own unlikely path to success to outline the essential steps to achieving your goals. Again, it's now out in paperback, so head to our website if you'd like to order a copy. Of course, our author this evening is James Conner. James is a running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In his freshman year at the University of Pittsburgh, James broke Tony Dorsett's school record for most rushing yards in a bowl game with 229 yards. The following year, James set an ACC record with 26 rushing touchdowns in one season and was named the ACC Player of the Year. He made a triumphant return his senior year, propelling him into the NFL, where he was named to the Pro Bowl for the 2018 season. Our book here this evening, again, is titled Fear is a Choice. Here it is, Tackling Life's Challenges with Dignity, Faith, and Determination. I just have to read one blurb before we get started. This is from Kyle Carpenter, who writes, when faced with the biggest adversity an athlete can face, James Conner chose every emotion but fear, and Fear is a Choice. He shares his journey, a truly inspirational book by an incredible role model we all can learn from. And before I hand it over to Akbar and James, I'd like to encourage you to ask questions. Please click the Ask a Question button below. Again, it's below my face here. If you have a question for either James or Akbar, I can't promise we'll get to all of them, but we'll save some time after the interview to go over your questions. But at this time, please join me in welcoming onto the screen Akbar Gbajabiamila and James Conner.
Whoa. What's up, James?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm good. Well, first off, I'm so happy that Midtown Scholars put this unique event on. This is pretty cool to be able to virtually host a book tour from the comfort of our homes. But I know you're in the comfort of your home in Pennsylvania. How's everything going with you, first off, before we get into just talking? How's everything going with you on a personal side? Obviously, with all the stuff going on with COVID-19, the Black Lives Matter, how are you doing personally?
I'm doing really well, keeping my faith strong. Trying to stay in shape as best I can, and things are going well right now. It's nice that we'll be able to do this virtually. It's kind of new. Definitely the first time I've done anything like this. So I'm excited about it, but all is well.
So your book drops tomorrow. So it's a big deal for you. This is your very first book coming out. What inspired you to write your memoir, especially the fact that you just turned 25 years old? This isn't something that's common for someone at 25 years old.
Yeah, well, when after my story, after the cancer diagnosis, and my whole focus was just getting back healthy, getting back to the football field, and just trying to pursue my dream as the NFL. But then, just over time, you get people messages and tweets and all these people just telling you how much of inspiration and how much motivated you are for them. And of course, they finish it off with, you should write a book one day. And so just working with my team, working with Nemo, working with my book agent, Cassie. We went to New York, met with a couple book publishing companies. We went with HarperCollins, and it kind of just took off from there. But just everybody telling me how much inspiration and how strong of a person I am. So that's what the main motivation was for me to.
Were you nervous at first? Were you nervous if people would be interested in your story, because it's a huge commitment to write a book? Were there nerves going into that?
There was a little bit of nerves, definitely because I was just new to it. But I was very confident in my team, and I just like what an opportunity it is to write a book. So I the book is called Fear is a Choice. So I kind of got to, practice what I preach and put the nerves to the side.
Well, so let's dive into that, because I thought it was an interesting choice for a title. But when you go into your story, and for those who are just coming in, we've got hundreds of people who are logged in watching from all around the world. So let's go back into this, this story. And for those who aren't familiar with it, your diagnosis, you're coming your junior year after I believe it's the first game you get hurt. I think there's an MCL injury. And then from that, you're going through your rehab, but then something pops up. You get x-rays that shows that you have cancer. What was going through your mind, and what was that approach like when you were rehabbing from an MCL and now trying to deal with the diagnosis of cancer?
Yeah, it was very tough trying to fight two battles. That's what my strength coach used to tell me all the time. Just one battle at a time. 2015, I was, planning on having this awesome career, awesome season. In 2015, the opening game of the season, I tear my knee, and I was just devastated, because as a running back, we think that's a knee injury, it's kind of like the worst thing that can happen to us. And so rehabbing for that, trying to get back to the field, I'm noticing I'm having shortness of breath, having night sweats, all these different issues, and I can't seem to put my finger on what's going on. I got further testing, got an X-ray, and it showed, that I had some tumors growing in my chest. And so when they first put the word cancer on me, I was just really confused. I was scared at first, but mainly just a confused feeling. It doesn't really run deep in my family like that. I try to be healthy, so I was kind of confused as to how did this happen? And
did you cry?
I did. I definitely did cry. Just so confused.
What was the first thought that went through your mind? I couldn't imagine the first time a doctor, says something like that. Here you are, you're young, athlete at the top of your game. There's the tears, but what was the first thought that went through your mind?
First thought was really thinking about the game, thinking about my family. A lot of thoughts. Can't really remember what the first one was, but just thinking about my family, the youngest of all my brothers. Thinking about, the troubles with them, how they're going to take this news, my parents, telling my teammates, and also am I going to have the opportunity to play football again? So a lot of different things and feelings I was feeling. It was a tough time.
So when did you know that you were going to make the title of this book during the process, Fear is a Choice? That's a powerful statement. And when you think about it, fear is a choice. What inspired you to come up with that title, and how do you define fear?
Well, what inspired me to come up with the title was I was actually sitting with one of my best friends, Sean, and we were just talking about it. This was before I had gave my announcement when I was still at the University of Pittsburgh. He was just, we're talking about things. He was like, fear is a choice. And we kind of were talking about it. And I said that in the press conference. And I think that had so much power in that statement. Little did I know that was going to be the name of a book title. But I think me saying that in the press conference is what gave that birth. And so I define fear as kind of like the unknown. You're going into things you don't know much about. And so there's no reason to fear the unknown if you have strong faith, heavy faith. I remember going into my first chemo session, and I had no idea what to expect or what it was going to be. I didn't know how I was going to receive chemo, what it was or anything. So it was just kind of like the fear of the unknown.
And I love how you define fear. I've oftentimes defined fear as the acronym, and I first heard this from my pastor, Pastor Miles McPherson, and he says, fear is false evidence appearing real. And so oftentimes, there's this idea as big as cancer, or there's this thing that you might deem as impossible, or how am I going to? And so these are just all false evidence that have kind of matured in the brain, and they appear real, but they're not. How did you have your breakthrough to go, I'm going to come back? Did you have that mindset, I'm going to come back? And what was the progression?
I did know, and I was talking about this earlier today, actually. I think it was probably after my second treatment. Dr. Marks gave me that outline. He said you have 12 total treatments. You're going to go every 2 weeks for 6 months. And so scared the first treatment. I got that. I dealt with the complications. I was very tired, and I lost my sense of taste and smell and all that type of stuff. And I was like, okay, let's see how the second one goes. And I got through the second one, and I said 10 more. I told myself 10 more. I can do 10 more of these. It's I knew
did it
it was
get progressively worse? Did some of the stuff that you were experiencing, the complications, did they get worse?
It's definitely like a roller coaster. There was some days worse than others for sure. Days when your stomach is just not acting right, and it gets a little bit worse than just some stomach pain. Too many details, but it's like a roller coaster. Some gets better. 4 and 5. I was like, okay, we got to pick it up a little bit. You hit that halfway mark. You hit treatment 6 out of 12, and you have 2 ways to look at it. It's like, I can't believe I still got 6 more, or only 6 more. So really, I got taught. My perspective is really what helped me and got me through that as well.
Now, I read in the process, not only were you going through chemo, but you were also practicing as well. How is that even physically possible? Because now to me that seems impossible. Like how did you do that? Were you immune compromised with that and still being able to go out and practice? How did that all work out?
Well, I was actually wearing a mask while I was still working out, but I was I still consider myself, my teammates still consider me a leader on a team, so I had to fulfill that role as well. And so my coaches, teammates, they understood. I was out there with them, and they would say, if we're running sprints, they would say, give us what you can. Anytime you need to step off, take a break, go ahead and do just that. And so I had to continue to be there for my team. I knew I wanted to come back, and later that year they elected me team captain. But I didn't want it just to be because how they felt for me or what I went through. I wanted to actually earn it and show that I'm there for them and that I'm a team leader, a team guy. So had to continue to just practice and be there on their side, and it all worked out.
Jay, that's a high level of commitment. So that makes me think, like, that's not just something that you learn, in high school or something that you learned while you're in college. That's something that was kind of deeper inside. So that makes me go back to your time growing up in Erie, PA. That's where you're from. You're playing in your home state. What was life growing up in Erie?
Life in Erie was awesome growing up. I had a big family. All my brothers, we were always together. So, it was just growing up with them. Those were my first teammates ever. So they taught me responsibility. They held me accountable. And so had a lot of great friends and great support growing up. So I love my time in Erie. It's Pittsburgh's kind of home now. I've just been here for so many years playing my college ball and now professional here. But it's always nice to go back. That'll always be home.
Are you going to run for mayor? I mean, you might as well. You played high school. You grew up there. You played high school ball, college ball, pro ball. I mean, what's next, the mayor or governor? I mean, you tell me.
Something's got to be next in line. One of those two.
Yeah, but but seriously though, like, what do you think? What would you attribute to growing up that led to that type of level of commitment to your team? Because like when I think about that and just think about, like, here you are fighting, for your life, literally fighting for your life, but yet still conscious enough to say, I need to be there physically and mentally for my team. So your presence alone would have been big enough, but that wasn't good enough for you. You needed to be out there, although limited, you were still there.
Yeah. Well, I attribute to that to, our parents. They did a great job raising me, my brothers as well. But as you know, the game of football teaches us that, I've been playing ever since the 5th grade. And so it's the ultimate team game. And so the accountability, being a leader, all that was instilled in me early. I was, my mom, she signed me up for football, even though, I didn't want her to. And that ended up being the best decision, that she ever made for me. So I think that's the game and my family, that bond that I had, and just manners, respect, all those, play a tribute to good character and being a leader.
Yeah. No, I always say this to people. It's like, if you really want to understand why a person is just like a good dude, everybody, I mean, knowing you for a while now, and then just people who say, hey man, James Conner, good guy, good dude. A lot of that starts from the beginning, and that starts from your childhood. I want to talk about your faith, because it's littered all through your book about how much your faith, played a part in your recovery, but also into your mindset. How important is your faith? Obviously important, because you talk about it. But when I ask that question, meaning like, how do you live your life representing your faith as a Christian?
as my faith gets stronger, I continue to read more and find out more, and my relationship with God grows. I just found out that He just wants us to involve Him in everything that we do. So you just got to live for Him and give Him all the praise and glory. I've seen Him work miracles on me firsthand, and He showed me more than enough already in my young life. So I know that if I continue to recognize my blessings, to acknowledge them, put other people first, we have to trust in the Holy Spirit and believe in us. I just
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I just asked Him to continuously to lead my life and guide my thoughts. Before my grandmother passed, she told me to pray for the strength, energy, and the mindset. So every day I pray for those three things, and it's taken me a long way.
And what I gather from Fear is a Choice, with your relationship with God, is that you didn't only just pray to God during the tough times when you're fighting for your life, but even during the good times. I mean, especially you talk about football. I mean, everybody was talking about Le'Veon Bell, and Le'Veon is the savior of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and there's a big question mark on who James Conner was. And yet, during your success, you still involved that relationship. Talk about your relationship with God and how that plays into football, and then your success that you've had as the running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Man, it's an awesome title. It's truly like the only thing I ever wanted to do was be a professional football player, and now I'm going into my 4th year. It's just unbelievable. So, no, I don't ever take it for granted. And like I said, with everything I do, I involve God in it. So, I believe that knee injury in 2015 actually saved me for the cancer diagnosis to be found. So, just coming to that, I like Jeremiah 29:11. The plans that He has for us. And so, notice I involved Him first, and He saved me on the field, and He saved me off the field as well. So.
Yeah, and that prepped you for last year too, because you had a little bit of a setback last year as well, and so you're very familiar on how to bounce back from an injury. Talk about that, because there's a lot of expectations coming in into the 2019 season for you.
Yeah, for sure. We get evaluated every day. Last year I dealt with those injuries and whatnot, but that's just a test of faith. It's just like which way you're gonna go, and how's your mind going to react to you dealing with these injuries and stuff. So I've showed, the world that I can bounce back, and, it's nothing for me to do it again. So that's what the plan is for the 2020 Steelers. Juju will be back healthy. Big number 7 will be back healthy. We'll put it together. Our defense is playing great, and
got some young receivers coming in, got some young talent coming in.
Had a great draft class again. And so, we got to get number 7 before Ben heads out. We're just going to put it all together this year, ignore the noise, and just play for one another and try to do something special this year.
So now, because you're the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I never experienced this as an NFL guy. Do you have to walk around town with bodyguards and stuff like that?
No, it's nothing but love here,
Do you go shopping by yourself? Be honest. Don't lie to me. Fear's a choice, but come on. Do you go shopping by yourself?
If I have to make a quick store run, I will. I'll put the hood up and I'll go get some groceries. But my mom helps me with a lot of that stuff, so she's been awesome with me doing all the groceries.
Most awkward fan interaction you've had. I'll share mine in a restroom. Someone's asking me to help them with their fantasy team, or they want to give daps and that's not cool. What's been your most awkward fan interaction?
Oh man, my most awkward fan interaction. Man, I've had a couple of words. I've definitely had the bathroom one where they do the open hand, I gotta do the fist.
What do you want me to do?
Not at the right time.
Yeah, right.
So it might have been that.
All right. Let's get away from the book, because I think part of the attraction of Fear is a Choice is just the personal side and just how you kind of open up about your personal side. COVID-19 pandemic, global pandemic, everyone was kind of in shock and in fear, and just, there's a lot of fear mongering going on TV, but it's a real deal. During this time, what did you learn about James Conner, and what is something new that you picked up and learned during the process?
What I learned about myself was my ability to focus and be consistent. And that's one thing I told myself when the quarantine started. I said I want to be very consistent with my diet and my training, because I feel like that's what's going to take my games to the next level. So I've been proud of myself for the consistency that I've had with the way I've been eating, the strict diet, and I think that's really what helped transform my body. But also, I just got back to the basics. I remember I used to walk to school every day, and I remember my legs being really strong, and I was, a great football player when I was young, and I'm still, I'm good at football still, but I got back to walking every day and just doing the small things. I took it back to the basics, running stairs.
How far did you walk, man? Come on. You say you walked to school. Would you walk 2 blocks, 3 blocks?
I was a little more, but every day, if you're walking to school every day, I mean, that's there and back every day. That's a lot of exercise.
Okay, all right, okay, that's fair.
I definitely did my fair share of walking. So I didn't really pick up any new talents, but I got better mentally and physically. So did you pick up any new talents?
You want to know one?
What was yours?
I learned how to become a barista. I actually bought a coffee machine, learned how to do my dosing and the grinding of coffee and the extraction from the coffee bean. I became kind of a coffee bean snob. I got coffee beans from all around the world.
How much work do you actually do, or is the machine doing all the work?
No. I'm doing it. I'm measuring it. I got my scale out. I'm putting everything in, and I'm trying to make sure I got the right dose. I put 18 grams of coffee bean in so I can extract 18 grams of coffee with the water and everything coming out. And I learned how to actually make my foam with my oat milk. I'm lactose intolerant, probably TMI, but I do a little. So I said I didn't want to spend the money going out to, coffee bean or anything like that. So I'm going to learn how to make my own coffee. Some people picked up cooking. I was wondering if you might have picked up, maybe you became a little better on the video game on the sticks. I'm not sure if you got a little bit better there.
Yeah, 2K, I definitely got a little better in 2K on the Xbox. Are you Xbox or PlayStation guy?
Xbox.
Xbox, yeah, same.
Yeah, same. Okay, but you're not trying to. You're not, because we can just log on right now and show the world if you want to get some. I mean,
you don't want to do that. We'll do that behind closed doors.
All right. Well, last one from me. Going into what hopefully will be the 2020 season, given that everything is normal and straight. One of the biggest headlines right now, and it really ties in well to your book. Fear is a choice, but there's also the fear of Black Americans in this country, and a lot of that stuff has been systemic from youth. And so my question to you is, what is your part? How do you see the NFL helping to amplify the message of Black Lives Matter?
I think we just can't ever get rid of it. I think we can never let it die down. And I think I've read where the NFL plans to donate to some Black communities. But I just think what people have to realize is that we're not far at all removed from, us just trying to get rights and all of that. So we have a long way to go. But nowadays, with all this social media and technology, this word is really spreading. And so, yeah, hopefully it's opening people's eyes and realizing that we need change in this country. So I think we just continue to do what we do and spread this word and keep raising that awareness. Don't ever let it fall off. And one day, hopefully, these rights will be equal.
Yeah, well, James, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Good to talk to you again.
Yes.
All right, guys, we're going to go through some audience questions. To our viewers out there, if you have a question, feel free to hit the Ask a Question button. Again, it's below our faces here. Get your questions in. We'll try to get to as many as we can in our time limit here. But thank you, Akbar. Thank you, James, for that awesome interview. We're going to go to a few questions here. First up from David. David wants to know, you're an inspiration, James, to many on this planet. Who has inspired you?
I've been inspired by a number of people. I think with just the topic that we're on with the book and with my cancer diagnosis, everything, the one who really hit me hard was Eric Berry. And Eric Berry was already in the NFL. He got diagnosed with the same cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he bounced back and he had a great season. And so I think he really set the tone and gave me the blueprint on how to have this mindset and how to get through it. He still continued to work out through his treatments. He still, and that's what I wanted to do, to get to where he was at. And so he really, he would text me saying round 1 before my first treatment. 2 weeks later, he would say round 2, and he kept calling me champ. And that really helped me so much that he was just, with me as I was fighting. I was inspired by all my teammates, how they rallied around me. So been inspired by a lot of people.
And this one's a softball, okay? This one's also from David. David asks, music motivates me in my life. Do you have any pre-game go-to music that motivates you before game? James, I want you to answer that, but also Akbar, after James answers, I want you to grab that one too.
I want to hear this one.
Well, I don't have a certain playlist or anything. Every game is going to be different. I don't have one song that I use. Music is in my life all day. As soon as I wake up, I turn my alarm off and I play music until I go to sleep. So I love music. I'm a music fiend all day. But there's a couple artists that I like listening to. I like listening to Meek Mill. Drake is obviously, everybody's favorite. A couple players, but music is playing for me pre-game, after the game. Music's in my life all the time. What's yours, Akbar?
Well, this is before your time. Now I'm sounding like the old dude in the group, but my favorite movie was the Rocky series. And so Rocky IV to me is the best Rocky of all. I mean, second to, of course, right after that is Rocky III. But the Rocky IV soundtrack goes so hard. And as a kid, I just remember wanting to be like Rocky Balboa, being inspired. But I would play before every game the Rocky soundtrack. It was the only thing. So going to the game, it was all Michael Jackson. And then at the stadium, I turned into Rocky IV. I didn't play anything else. I couldn't listen to anything else because it made me feel like that Rocky on the inside.
Yeah, see, I'm the younger generation. I would say the Creed soundtrack. Creed 1 and Creed 2. I'll let you have Rocky.
Creed does go hard too. Creed does go hard.
All right, I'm going to combine a couple questions here. This one's from Debbie. They say, I'm such a fan. You're what football should be about. I grew up in Pittsburgh. Besides Heinz Field, where is your favorite place in the Burgh? And then David also asks, there's a lot of great places to eat in the Burgh. What's your guilty pleasure? So favorite places outside of the Burgh, both restaurants and just hanging out. Hopefully no more bathroom awkward encounters.
Favorite place in Pittsburgh besides Heinz Field? I've never been asked that question, so that's an awesome question. What food do I like the most? But that's, if I'm not at the house, I'm out to dinner somewhere. So there's a couple restaurants that I like. I like the restaurant Soju. I like what else to eat? I've been eating at home in Kentucky for so long now. But hanging out as well. We like to this one if we ever hit the South Side with friends or our facility. I love just being over there with all the guys and my teammates. So it's not tough. I don't know. I'm not sure what places is.
Yeah, the better question is, do you have a chef?
My mother. Yeah, she's
okay. Okay, that's what's up.
And yeah, she's been hooking it up, giving me all these nice meals. She's the reason, why I'm looking like this.
So you look just all chiseled in the face. I'm sure. Go to his gram, and you probably won't see abs popping everywhere. So I'll show you a dad bod over here. I'm strong with the dad bod.
Yeah.
All right. This next question is from Bob. They want to know, what was your favorite play or highlight in your football career so far? And I'm imagining that can be both college and NFL.
Well, I'll make it fun and I'll go through the stages. High school, my favorite play was probably versus my senior year, first game of the season. My best friend, we ran a triple option, and he gave me this really smooth triple option pass. I caught it, went down the sideline versus Mentor, Ohio. We were playing versus Mitch Trubisky, he's one of my good friends. I battled with him through North Carolina, the Bears. And so, and then college, my favorite play was probably the run versus Clemson. I had a nice run versus Clemson with like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And that we ended up winning that game by a field goal. So I put us within field goal range. And then I'll say in the NFL, my favorite play had to been 2018 versus the Cleveland Browns. And I just grew up on that Cleveland-Pittsburgh rivalry, that I just watching those, and it's like my hometown area. They're either Steelers fans or Browns fans. And I put that game away week 8, like 4 minutes left for the touchdown run. And I ran in the end zone with the ball, up in the air, and that was just one of my special moments.
This is kind of a fun one. This is from Alex. They ask, what Steelers player would you be most afraid of getting tackled by? Maybe afraid's not the right word, but who are you looking across the line and looking at the most?
Has to be 90. Has to be T.J. Watt, man. The way he attacks the quarterback and even the running backs, and every time he's close to somebody with the ball, he's punching at him, trying to make him fumble, and he just plays with so much intensity. So You know, he's one of the best I've ever seen. So yeah, TJ Watt.
Since we are a bookstore, we got to ask this question. This question's from Stacy. They ask, are there any books that inspired you to write your own? Do you have a favorite book? James, I want you to answer that, but Akbar, you're an author as well. Feel free to jump on that after James.
It's a really easy read, but one of the books that inspired me so much, it was called Chop Wood, Carry Water. And my running back coach actually gave me that. And it talks about a young samurai who just pays attention to the details over and over and over again. He goes to archer school, and it's just the amount of repetitions that he had to do to become perfect at this. That's probably my favorite books. People should definitely go check that out. Like I said, easy read, but it's called Chop Wood, Carry Water. I think you'll enjoy it. Akbar?
Yeah, for me it was, and I'm losing the title of the book right now, but it was President Obama's, before he was President Obama, his very first book. I believe is it a memoir from my father? I'm losing the title of it right now, but that's the one that kind of inspired me. And I was kind of on the fence if I wanted to write one. There are a lot of personal insecurities. And I just thought, who's going to want to listen to me? Why would anybody want to buy my book? And I was reading an excerpt from Barack at the time, before he was president, Barack Obama. Otherwise, I wouldn't just call him Barack. We're not cool like that. I don't know him like that. But he was just saying the same thing. He kind of voiced the same insecurity, like, why would anybody want to buy my book? Why would anybody want to read a story about me and his father coming from, and just their relationship and his whole family dynamic? And I thought, oh, wow, it made me actually feel comfortable that, I could write one. So that kind of wrapped it all together and inspired me to write it.
This next question is from Gina. They ask, James, your faith is inspirational to so many people. Who in your life do you attribute your strong faith to?
Really, everybody in my family since I was young. I think it all starts with how we learn to pray, before bed and before we eat. And I think there's those simple basics when we were young. As you get older, it's like, why are we doing this? Like who are we praying to? Why are we praying? Find out the small details. But so yeah, my parents and brothers, we would pray before meals. We went out to dinner, out to restaurants and stuff. And also my grandmother, I remember just going over to her house for Thanksgiving and Christmas and having the whole family surrounding the food and everybody just locking arms. I've seen that ever since I was young. So I attribute to my family.
This next question is from Amy. And, me and James were just joking before the event that it's not the greatest time to be releasing a book, but in a way, I mean, your book here, Fear is a Choice, it's kind of the perfect moment in a way to be releasing a book. And the person wants to know, how do you manage your fears?
How do I manage? By taking risks, and knowing myself and knowing what I've done. I have fear, honestly, every time I step on the football field, but then I always revert back to my training and how this is not my first time, being out here, and so many things. There's reason to be, like I said, the fear of the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen. How's this game going to play out, or how's the situation going to play out? Stepping aside from playing a football game, or having cancer, or dealing with a death in the family, like you don't understand, you don't know how you're going to react to that. So just the fear is, you're not sure, and so I just I revert back to what I know. And so if it's on the football field, my training, if it's in life, in a situation, I put my faith, as God to control my thoughts. Akbar, how do you?
Yeah, I was going to add to that, and thank you for letting me chime in on this one, because this one's very personal to me, and this is why I love the title of the book. I really love it. It's a great read, and for all those who are in this venue right now, I'm telling you, it's an amazing read. It's a perfect time too, because a lot of people are still at home, depending on which state you're in, and still trying to have things open up. So it's a great read coming out, because there's a lot of fear going on with COVID-19. But I liken it to this. Now, I'm going to consider this a safe space. I'm making this a safe space. Back in 2004, still with the Raiders at the time, so contractually I was not supposed to be doing this. But my buddy and I, we wanted to do something for my friend's bachelor party. We wanted to go skydiving. Now, obviously, again, contractually, you're not supposed to be doing this. But I thought the idea of it was great. I was like, yeah, go skydiving. This is cool. Yeah, whatever. But once we started to get there, and we started to go through the training, and they started putting all this other kind of stuff on. And then as we walked onto the plane, everything just started hitting me. The fear became real, because the truth is, black folks don't go skydiving. This is a safe space that that's not something we do, you know. And so here we are, and we're getting up, and we're 15,000, however many thousands of feet up in the air, and they open the door, and all of a sudden, the fear just became like double the amount, and I was super scared. What am I saying? I saw my friends just flying out the thing. I thought they all died as they went out the plane because I didn't see them. They went out too fast. I'm like, what is going on? I'm the last one on the plane. And it's the tandem jump. So I got the guy trying to push me. I'm like, hold on, homie. I'm a D-lineman. You are not pushing me out of this plane. I don't want to go. Put me down. And so he worked me through, talked it, and eventually he trick counted me, said, all right, we're going to go on 3. Just trust me. 1. And then he pushed me out. And then I was done. But what I knew, though, was after I started, he kind of talked me off the cliff a little bit, pushing past the fear, right? Pushing past the fear, I was able to experience something magical. And so on the other side of fear is always something magical. But many people don't experience that magic because they let fear stop them. And that's why it's false evidence appearing real. My false evidence, if I jumped out the plane, I was going to die. But what did I experience? I experienced a view of the earth I had never experienced before. And that's why I think, you know, Fear is a Choice is a great book.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, one of my best friends, I know a couple people who went skydiving, and they say it's an experience like you never believe. And I already know I'm scared of heights. I know how I would react up in the air, but I might, you know, you just inspired me a little bit more too. You said it was magical. I might have
do it after your millions, though. You're making millions. do it afterwards. I was on the bottom. I was an undrafted free agent. So let me prep. So you mean a lot more to the organization than I did.
So this next question is from Kelly, and they want to know. So James, you were born and grew up in Erie, and then you went to University of Pittsburgh for college. Did you grow up a Steelers fan? Like, what has that experience been like? You know, growing up in Western Pennsylvania, and then through all these levels, playing in around Pittsburgh.
It's been awesome playing for the Steelers, obviously, but I actually grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan. Just the star. I was born in '95. You know, just that blue Emmitt Smith. You know, playing running back. I wanted to wear number 22. So I grew up a Cowboys fan. A lot of Steelers fans don't like to hear that, but you know, now I'm full black and gold, though.
Wow, I think my social media is blowing up right now. Holy
All right, let's go to another question here. All right, Akbar, this question's kind of for both of you. How well would James do on American Ninja Warrior?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. James, you know, I know you talked about losing some weight and you're all ripped up and stuff like that. So you look like a ninja. You're about 6 feet tall. So you're right at it. Did I get that height right? About 6 feet?
6'2". 6'2".
Okay, so I took 2 inches. Now, hold on. Like this, now, player to player talking now. Are you really 6'2" or are you written
6'1" 3/4. That's the honest truth. 6'1" 3/4.
Okay, can I give you my honest truth too? This is only gonna stay inside of here. Yeah. I'm not really 6'6". I'm really 6'5"3/4. But because Michael Jordan growing up was 6'6", I had to be 6'6". So I bumped it up a little bit. Yeah.
We gonna go with
so to answer your question, no, I think James would, because I think running backs would probably do the best on American Ninja Warrior because they've got great body awareness, especially because they're getting hit and have to run off one leg. And a lot of that stuff you see on Ninja Warrior is all about body awareness and then strength to weight ratio. And some of the strongest people I've ever seen on the football field are running backs, just because they have to. They have the lower body and upper body strength.
Yeah, we got to make that happen. I want to get that a try. I got to get on it.
Now, I will say, believe it or not, though, we've had several NFL players try the NFL course, the Ninja Warrior course, and only one, Cameron Wembley, defensive lineman, broke all of the stereotypes and was able to hit the buzzer on American Ninja Warrior. But we had Brendan Ayambandejo, we had Jordan Babineau, Sean Merriman, the Seattle punter, I don't know, I'm forgetting his name, but we've had so many NFL guys come out, only one has succeeded. So you got to come out there and represent for the skilled position guys.
Yeah, I got to make it be number 2. We'll see. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers told me he was going to come out, but we'll see.
See.
So since we are in central Pennsylvania, I will admit we probably do have some Penn State football fans in the room. So we have a question here from Amy who wants to know, they admit they're a Penn State fan, but what's your impression of playing in Beaver Stadium? Beaver Stadium's huge.
Yeah, I actually have never got the opportunity to play in Beaver Stadium. So they brought the rivalry back, the Pitt versus Penn State rivalry back in 2016, which was my last year there. And that game was at Heinz Field. And so, you know, I see it all on TV though, you know, 110 or 100,000, however many Penn State holds, and they do the white out and it looks awesome. It would definitely be a crazy atmosphere to play in, but I've never got the opportunity to play there. I wish I would have though.
All right, this next question is from, looks like Aaron. They asked, what was it like working with another author to help tell your story in your voice? In another interview, you compare working with another writer like the offensive line, blocking you for you so that you can deliver.
Yeah, I would work with Tiffany Brooks. She was awesome. She put so much work in, countless hours. You know, she just, the way she put it up, made everything come together. You know, I'm just so blessed to be able to work with her. She went back and interviewed my family, teachers, old coaches that I grew up with, to really get in-depth detail, you know, of stories that I may have forgotten about. You know, it was tough when we were on the phone and she would ask me questions and I had to really go back and, you know, just remembering dates and how certain events played out and what happened first. But the way she captured it, she did a phenomenal job. So yeah, definitely shout out to Tiffany.
This next question is from Alex, who is 10 years old. They say they've been a fan for years. What player do you get most fueled or excited to play against? What players make you feel like you're playing at a higher level?
Good question. Really good question. I think the intensity of our Steelers-Browns game, those games, you know, you definitely got to pick your play up. I remember 2018, we played the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had a really, really fast defense. They had Miles Jack, Telvin Smith, you know, their defensive end, Calais Campbell, Jalen Ramsey. Their defense was just flying all over the field. So that was definitely a tough game to play. And but we really get pumped up for every game, just the introductions and just the atmosphere. That's why I really hope that we have fans in the stadium this year, because you know they play a huge role to us getting pumped up and motivating us.
Akbar, I got to sneak in a question for you. Someone wants to know, after NFL Network, what's next? That's from Larry.
Well, he's still hosting American Ninja Warrior and American Ninja Warrior Junior, but hopefully what's next would be to be able to host my own game show. So that's something I'm working on. The ultimate goal would be able to end up like on the Today Show. That's something that I see myself kind of in the same vein as what Michael Strahan is doing. He's been a great mentor, by the way. Has been super generous with just kind of showing me his playbook as to how he's been able to build his career post-football. So hopefully the next game show you guys will be enjoying will be hosted by me. So.
All right, we've got time for just a couple more questions here, then we got to wrap up. But this next question is from Nikita. They ask, you've been through a lot in such a short period of time. What motivates you to keep going? Besides love for the game, what pushes you to keep picking up the ball?
I think just knowing that there's more, and always reaching to be better and accomplish more. Life is still going to go on after football is over with, and I'm going to give it everything I have right now to be remembered for a long time, you know, in the city of Pittsburgh. So just definitely motivated by wanting more and knowing that there's more out there. You know, I see the clips of Jerome Bettis, you know, on a podium holding up the trophy, you know, and this is like I had the opportunity to literally duplicate that picture, you know, being a starting running back holding a trophy up. So that's my number one motivation. Family motivates me and want me to be better. But also, you know, I am young, and so even though I've been through a lot, I know I have Lord willing, a lot of life left. So just want to maximize it and live every day. That's what I tell all the survivors. Once they put the cancer behind them and they get that green light and they're good, now it's time to live and enjoy life. You know, the hardest part is hopefully behind you. So.
This next question is from Barbara. They ask, or they say, James, I just want to say that you are an absolute class act and an inspiration to all. There should be more people in the world like you. What is your favorite motivational quote? And James, if you want to answer that, but Akbar, I'd like you to jump in on that as well, if you'd like.
Okay, sure.
I have a lot of quotes. I have a lot of quotes saved in my phone. The one that I recently just came up with. So now we're doing virtual meetings. We've been doing virtual meetings with all my teammates and in the running back room. each day, the running back gives a motivational quote, or tells us a story or something. And one of my good friends, Ralph Webb, he played running back at Vanderbilt, and he said, "Any man that asks for more than opportunity is ungrateful." And I just heard that one recently, and I was like, you know what? That's a great quote, and I wrote it down, and I'm sticking by it. Any man who asks for more than opportunity, because a lot of people want things given to them and handed to them. A lot of people don't want to really work for things. So that work ethic is really what sets you separate. And so once you really get your foot in the door, I believe it's all up to you. So that's one of my favorite quotes. I got a lot more, but the one that's recently stuck with me is the opportunity one.
Yeah, I like that one. That's actually really dope. I'm going to write that down as soon as we're done. And if I forget, I'm going to text you to text me about that one. But my favorite quote is, "To be good is not good enough if you dream of being great." And there's so much that is, packed into that statement. To be good is not good enough if you dream of being great. And I found in my own life, and in so many other people that I can relate to, sometimes you'll see people will actually choke down their performance, so the expectation of them is lower. And if the expectation is lower, they don't ever have to raise the bar. And I think that's what keeps people either average or just good, but not great. I grew up infatuated with greatness, albeit Muhammad Ali, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey in her field, and just all these people I was always just gravitating towards people who were great. And I always asked the question, what made them great? And listening to Muhammad Ali talking about, he hated every single day he had to practice, but he knew he knew exactly why he was sacrificing that time to practice so he could become the greatest of all time. So yes, to be good is not good enough if you dream of being great. Thanks, and shout out to my former teammate, Roland Williams, who was like a mentor to me when I came into the NFL. He would say that to me almost every day. Yeah. And it blew my mind. And I was like, I'll never forget that.
That's awesome. Yeah. In fact, that's what the game does.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good question to wrap up on. So this should be our last question. We've got a lot of viewers out here. We've got readers. They've pre-ordered the book. Their book is on their way as soon as possible. Nikita wants to know, what should I expect to take away from it? So what do you want readers that read your book, what do you want them to take away from it?
What I want them to take away from it is hopefully something that they can apply into their own life. That's why I want this book to be timeless. Anytime that, because like I said, adversity is going to happen and we all go through it. And usually it's not the last time or the first time. And with this book, I want people to be able to, if they're going through something, revert back to the book and figure out how to get through it. A couple months or it goes by, something comes up, go back and read that book. I want it to be an escape for people. I want it to be something that just hits home with them and they can apply to their everyday life to try to get just 1% better every day.
Nice.
James, Akbar, thank you guys so much for joining us here at the Midtown Scholar Bookstore. The book is Fear is a Choice. It's a first edition copy, comes with a signed book plate from James. Click the green button below or simply head to midtownscholar.com. James, congrats on the book. Thank you, Akbar, for joining us here. Thank you, viewers, for coming out tonight. Feel free to spread this link, spread it to your friends. I'll give you guys the last word.
I just want to say thank you to all the viewers, everybody. Akbar, so good to see you again. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it all.
All right, that's it. James gets the last word. It's his book.
All right. Thanks, guys. Stay safe, everyone.
All right.
See ya.